Welcome to this video orientation for Online World History 2, the summer session. In this first part of the orientation, we'll go over the expectations for students taking the course. These expectations can be summarized in a series of questions, maybe some of the same questions that you have sitting down to watch this orientation. And so we'll go through these 6 questions as a way of going through the expectations for students in the course. Okay, a question that very frequently comes up is one that parents and students want to know: how much time do I need to spend working on this class? The general rule of thumb is you should be expecting to spend about 7.5 hours each day working in this class. I know for some of you, you're falling out of your chairs now. That might not be the answer you were expecting, but let's try and compare what you're doing this summer to what you would be doing during the school year. In the school year, sometimes, some weeks, a world history class on block scheduling meets 2 times a week, in which case the students in class 3 hours a week in world history. Sometimes the class meets 3 times a week, in which case the students in class 4.5 hours a week. But roughly that's an average of 3 3/4 hours per week spent in world history class during the school year, and that's then multiplied by 40 weeks of the school year, which gives the state approved 150 hours of time in the course. Well, you're trying to do during the summer in just 4 weeks what's done in 40 weeks during the school year. Okay, so in order to reach that 150 hours, 7.5 hours each day, Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, brings us to 37.5 hours each week, and we multiply that by 4 weeks. That brings us to the same 150 hours as a student during the school year would spend. Okay, the most important thing, the most important piece of advice I can give any student taking an online class is to make a schedule and keep to it to the best that you can. I'm older than you guys, but I took an online course in college, and I remember my mindset going into it. I thought, this is going to be great. I don't have to go to class. I don't have to listen to some boring teacher. I can sit on the couch and watch TV. After 2 weeks, I had to withdraw from the class, failing because I was so far behind. The good thing about an online course is you can make your own schedule, but the bad thing about an online class is you can make your own schedule if you don't keep it, if you just keep pushing it back. You really need to sit down at the beginning of the week and say, these are the times that I'm going to work on this class. You don't need to spend 7.5 hours all at once sitting in front of the computer. In fact, I would strongly advise that you don't do that. I would break up that 7.5 hours into chunks of time throughout the day. Maybe you do 2 hours in the morning, then you go do something else. Come back later in the afternoon, do another 2 hours. Okay, then before you go to bed after dinner, maybe do 3 hours. Whatever works for you, but you need to make that schedule, and the weaker you are about bending that schedule, the more likelihood you're going to run into trouble in terms of finishing the course and keeping up. If you're listening to this and you're saying, that's more than I anticipate, I really wasn't expecting that, I can't spend that amount of time during the summer working on the course, it really is in your interest. Don't spend the summer suffering trying to get through that work or taking shortcuts. Contact the online campus office and request the refund information. Hopefully not a decision that you have to make, but if you really are saying, honestly, I can't spend that amount of time, it really is better to make that decision early instead of suffering through a long, miserable summer of the course. Okay, question 2. Students frequently ask, when is class? Again, as we mentioned, class in the general sense is the 7.5 hours that you're working on the assignments and doing the work required of the class. That 7.5 hours, you're mainly on your own. You're deciding when you're going to do that. Some students do most of their work in the morning, and then their afternoons and evenings are light loads. Other students are night owls. They do most of their work. I'm always amazed at the students turning in work, late into the night. But again, you know yourselves and what works best for you. The only portion of that 7.5 hours that you do need to be somewhere at a certain time is the 1 hour that your class has set aside for the Blackboard Collaborate session. This is a teacher-led hour where the teacher of the class will go through the material covered in the course. You are expected to attend one of those sessions, and you do have a choice. There is a morning session and there is an afternoon session, and you're free to choose which one of those sessions each day you choose. Or that you attend. So some students, they always go to the morning or they always go to the afternoon, or some days, for whatever reason, Tuesday mornings you go to the Tuesday one, but all the rest of the days you go to the afternoon one. You do have that flexibility and that choice. You do also have the additional flexibility that if you do miss a class, you are expected to attend these classes. But in the chance that maybe you woke up late, or you were planning on being back for the afternoon session and you got a flat tire and you couldn't make it, there are alternative assignments for those missed class sessions that you can do. Okay, so that's the expectation here for when classes. Okay, another question that comes up frequently is, what happens if I'm not keeping up with the class? If you go one full day without submitting any work or doing any activity in the class, your teacher will contact you, because one day in the class is a long amount of time in the regular school year. It's almost 2 weeks of time. So your teacher will contact you either by email or phone, just a friendly, hey, what's going on, everything okay, anything I should know about, any way I can help. If that doesn't get any response and you go into a second day and you still haven't done any work and you still haven't submitted any or been active in the course, you then will receive a referral from the online campus and an official warning. Okay, so after 2 days, now it's getting a little more serious, and if still no change occurs and you're still not doing any work in the course, the 3rd day of inactivity, you could be dropped from the course. At this point, you're almost half a quarter through the class or through the week without doing any work. Okay, so those are the steps along the way for being inactive in the class. Hopefully nothing that anybody has to encounter, but just so that we're all on the same page, what the consequences are for not doing work in the class. Okay, question 4, are there any face-to-face meetings in this class? As we mentioned, you're mainly doing this class independently. You're setting your own schedule and you're doing the class on your own pace each day to complete the day's assignments. You do have 3 mandatory face-to-face meetings though. One is for the midterm exam after the 2nd week of the course. One is for the final exam at the end of the course after the 4th week, and usually the day after the final exam, the SOL exam, to verify the credit for the state. Those 3 are mandatory meetings. The dates for those are contained in the welcome information that was sent home to you when you enrolled in the course. Your teacher will have it posted prominently on the announcements page on Blackboard, and you'll receive numerous email, I'm sure, notices and reminders from your teachers as well. Please, 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 for the sake of your parents, older brothers, sisters, whoever it is who's giving you a ride to these testing sites, let them know the dates early. Don't go to them the night before saying you need a ride to the test the next day. Let them know those dates early so that they can plan their schedules around them. Okay, question 5, who do I contact with questions during this class? One of the big differences between this and your regular school classes is you don't have a teacher in the room that you can raise your hand and have the teacher come over and help you with the questions that you have. That's why communicating with your teacher via email is very important. That's raising your hand in this class. Your teachers are here to answer the questions that you have. As I say often to students in the class, there are no dumb questions except for the ones that you don't ask. Especially during that first week of the course when you're getting your feel for the class, you're going to have questions, and chances are the question you have 2 or 3 other students have had also. So please, please, please do not hesitate to email your teacher with any questions. That's what we're here for, and that's what we're happy to provide answers for. Don't just sit there with the question in your head not asked. Okay, the sooner you ask the question, the better it is for you and the more problems it avoids. So get those questions typed up and sent as soon as you have them. Okay, and then the last question has to do with what happens if you're working hard in the class, you're doing all the work that you can each day, you're trying your best, but you just didn't finish all the work each day. I'm not talking about students here who are slacking and want to take 2 days off and then try and do all their work all at once. For students who are working and doing a genuine effort to do the work each day as it is assigned, you are expected to, as best you can, do all the work each day. With that said, we understand that power goes out. Relatives drop in unexpectedly. Computers have issues. Things happen during the summer. So we understand that, and that's why Saturday and Sunday is set aside for you to work on any assignments that you didn't get finishing during the week. Monday through Friday is the work week. Each Monday through Friday is a quarter in the class. And so the Saturday and Sunday, there's no new work assigned. You can use that time to finish up any last assignments that you need to finish up. Keep in mind, though, since Sunday is the end of the quarter, teachers need to submit your grades at that point. So at 11:59 at midnight on Sunday night, as Sunday turns into Monday and the start of a new quarter, those assignments will be shut down and you will no longer be able to go back and work on the assignments from the previous week. Okay, so that concludes the first part of our orientation. In our second part of the orientation, we'll cover the way students actually do the course.